Well, here we are again. And I have an exciting sketch. Let's go ahead and make a very dark color, pretty much black. Now, I've got this burnt umber here, some Prussian blue. I'm going to mix these together. Now, I don't buy black paint. Some people are surprised by that, but I just don't like it. Sometimes it gets chalky looking, and it's just not quite right for me. So I just make my own black. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of paint thinner to this. I want it to be very thin. Now, this is an exciting painting today. Recently, I went on a camp out with my family. I live in Arizona, and we went up to the woods. Many people are surprised that there are woods in Arizona. There are. Beautiful. Now, I don't want to put this on too thick. I want it to be very thin. And the reason why I'm putting such a dark color here is because I want these aspen trees to really pop. Aspen trees are white. And if you put something bright against something dark, it'll really show it off. Now, when we were out of town on our trip, I took a lot of photos and made a lot of sketches. But as you can see, none of these photos quite look like a painting. So the trick is to kind of make a new composition that's cohesive and that can create a dynamic image that's compositionally interesting and so forth. And you can make a painting a million different ways and frame things up a lot of different ways. I wanted to do this one vertical so we can see these trunks. Wanted to have a lot of darkness in the background. So that's what we're going to do today. And our first job here is to lay in all of these dark areas. Normally I do the sky. This is going to be a bright sky over here. The light's coming from over here. It's going to be hitting these. It's going to be bright over here, and it's going to get darker and darker in the background. There's going to be shadows. There's a little path here. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. Now, this dark color that I'm applying, I don't want it to be too thick. I really don't. If the paint is too thick, it just won't quite look right. I've learned that with these darker colors, you kind of want to put them on thin, and then the lighter colors, like white, things that are very bright, you can glob on the paint, and it looks good when the light catches it. And I learned that not from a teacher or a YouTube video, but from looking at paintings. And I really encourage you to go to galleries, go to museums, look at paintings, not just for a few minutes, for hours. Study it. Think about it. How was that done? What was put down first? And it'll come to you. I've learned more from looking at actual paintings than anything else. In person, not prints, not online. It's just not the same. You got to see them in person to appreciate it. And a lot of my paintings, they don't photograph well. In person, they look a lot better, in my opinion. Van Gogh is known for that. A lot of Van Gogh's paintings, if you see them in person, you're like, what? I didn't know? I didn't know. But I'm very grateful that we can film these videos and that you can see this. Watching an artist work, seeing their process, how they think, it's all important. Now, this show is not your traditional painting class. I'm not just an art instructor. This is painting therapy, and this is my therapy. This is my time when I can work through my emotions. I've got a lot of emotions. Always have. And I talk through things that are on my mind, things I've been thinking about, what I care about. And it just comes out while I paint. So don't be surprised if I talk about life and get all deep on you. All right, more Prussian blue, more burnt umber. Gonna make more of this dark color. Wonderful. Add a little bit of paint thinner. All right. There. And it can be relaxing to watch somebody paint. So some people are telling me that they're falling asleep watching these shows. And full episodes are on YouTube. Full episodes. We're on TikTok and Instagram and so forth, but YouTube has the good stuff. It's got the long episodes. So you can see this already taking shape. These trunks are really standing out. And that's because of this dark color. And a lot of people, when they start to draw, they think it's about lines. It's actually about value. Value is how bright or dark a color is. And if an image works as a black and white image, you know it's going to work with color. And in fact, in art school, when a lot of students are first starting out, their instructors make them make black and white paintings. It's very common. Hey, if you've been to art school, let me know in the comments. Very curious. I've never really had very much training. I took an art class when I was 11, and I took one in my high school when I was 17, and that's it. Everything else is self-taught, and I prefer it that way. I remember growing up, when I learned methods and things, I would always think, oh, someone just came up with this. Why do I have to do it that way? And I'm the kind of person that wants to find their own method. It's just, and not everyone's that way. And a lot of people can learn to paint very realistically. It's incredible. They can really learn a method and learn how to paint very, very well. But for me, it's art is very emotional. And I really like to just feel out the paintings and experience my emotions when I do it. Be open, be true, trying my best to be who I really am inside. It's very important. More of this dark color. We're just going to keep making more and more of it, adding this paint thinner, putting down this dark color all through here. I want to make sure it's dark enough. And we'll add some more details on top here and there. But I'm doing these vertical strokes to kind of make it look like there's trees in this dark area. And they're really far away from you. Let's see here. Let's go through here. Now, I'm not painting the whole area dark. I'm leaving these spaces. And that's how I like to paint. Almost like a paint by numbers approach. Just each little area gets its own basic color. One little section at a time. So as I paint and I keep going forward, you're going to see just little sections be finished here and there. And I don't do a pass over the whole painting and keep going. Also, this is the alla prima method, and that's just a fancy way to say that I paint this in one go, one sitting. I don't just come back day after day or work on it for months. I just go really quick. That's how the Impressionists worked. And the Impressionist movement was really made possible because of the tubes of paint, this new invention that came with the Industrial Revolution. And people were able to go to stores and buy paint. And I've talked about this before. Before that, artists had to make their own. They had to mix their own pigments. And they worked in studios because it was too hard to go out. But then the Impressionists were like, wait, we got these tubes of paint. Let's go outside and see nature and try to capture it, almost like photography. And that's what they did. And that movement, the Impressionist movement, has always been inspiring to me. Artists like Monet, post-impressionists like Van Gogh. Very exciting. I just love their art. It excites me. And the reason why I like it so much is because it's participatory. It's when you look at their art, you have to fill in the gaps. And when you step back, you see a lot of detail that's not actually there. And then when you step forward, it's incredible to see these globs of paint and you think, wow, it's almost like a magic trick. How the heck did they do that? And that's always fascinated me. So when I'm painting, these painting videos sometimes take 6 or 8 hours to film, even though the final video is only a couple hours long. And the reason for that is because I'm stepping back constantly. Also, sometimes when I mix colors, I'll pause the cameras for 10, 15 minutes and keep mixing until I'm happy. So these shows, it kind of looks easy. Kind of looks like I'm going quick. No, it's not that easy. It's not that quick. Just trying to make it fun for the folks at home. That's all. But you know what? Being in front of this canvas, I come alive. I love it. I absolutely love it. And if you're an artist and if you enjoy painting, let me know in the comments. Hey, in the comments, share some of the paintings you've been working on. Don't be shy. We want to see it. We want to see your individuality. And that's what painting is. Every single person has their own unique way of painting. Every person sees the world differently. And what I'm adamantly against, and what makes me absolutely angry, is that some artists, they just copy. Some artists don't have originality. They just copy others. Each one of us, don't deny that. Each one of us can have their own style. You really can. If you just step in front of the canvas and do what you love and prioritize that feeling in your heart, you can have your own style. And what that comes from is just a truth inside of you. You don't want to budge. You don't want to say, well, I'll just paint like you because you told me to. You say, no, I want to paint this way because I want to. It's kind of a defiance, kind of a little confidence. Sometimes we can break the rules out of spite. And a lot of the greatest artists, many of them hated the traditional way of painting and bucked against it, and were able to come up with their own methods, like Monet. And when Monet first started, people laughed. They said, it's not finished. What are you doing? This is garbage. That probably was hard for him for a long time. Same with Van Gogh. This is trash. Some people, when he painted their portraits, there was one man, a doctor at one of the hospitals that he was staying at. He valued Van Gogh's painting so little that he used it to fix his chicken coop door. He used a painting to kind of fix the door of his chicken coop. And when you paint, others might not value your art. People might not value this painting. It might end up in a Goodwill somewhere, and that's okay. And like I've said many, many times, it's not about the final product. And I know that's strange to hear, but it's really not. It's not about the final product. It's about how you feel when you paint it. That's the only thing you can control as an artist. That's really the only thing you can control. You can't control how people are going to perceive your art or how they'll value it. Don't worry about that. That's out of your control. What matters is how you feel when you're painting. Prioritize your life. It's very important. Prioritize your time. Many people do things for many years that they don't care about, they don't like, and they say, well, I'm just living my life. Life's hard, right? Life's hard. Well, it doesn't have to be that hard. We can do what we love. We can be brave and with our time do what we love as much as possible. We can do that. Let me please be the inspiration you need to be that true self again that you have. To be yourself. All right, just placing in some shadows here where I think that it should be kind of dark. It doesn't have to be perfect. And as we make mistakes when we go along, we just roll with them. So there aren't really mistakes. You just learn to kind of, I did that. Oops, now I'm going to change it. We have this basic sketch to go on, but we can change whatever we want as we go, whatever we feel like. Now, like I said earlier, these photos that I took on my camp out, these aren't paintings, these are photos. And the colors, the values, they're just kind of boring. And if I tried to paint one of these photos and copy the photo exactly, it wouldn't turn out right. Just wouldn't. You gotta learn how to take a photo and kind of turn it into a painting. And the way you do that is by learning some of these basic techniques of light and dark. And so today as you're watching, I do hope that you can kind of get a sense for values. And this painting is a great way to learn that. Okay, very happy with this. Let's add some darker parts down here. There's going to be some shadows through here at the base of these little bushes. We can just add some darker parts now. Nice. And perhaps through here, just little bits. Now, sometimes I'll apply the paint very thin, sometimes thick, just depending on the value and what I'm feeling, where I want the eye to go, and that's okay. Now, before we started painting today, I covered this entire canvas with a thin coat of burnt umber. Not burnt sienna. I normally do burnt sienna. Burnt umber. And then I made this sketch with burnt umber as well. And we're just using this as a roadmap. That's important. When you're starting a painting, if you approach an empty white canvas, it can be intimidating to try to think that you could make something great with it. And it's very difficult. So if you have a plan, that's wonderful. And when I'm looking off here, I actually have an iPad right off the screen. And I'm looking at different photos that I took so I can see what things were like, a collection of photos. So this painting will kind of be like an ultimate collection of all these different photos, different details. Now, the aspen trees that we saw on our campout, aspen trees, when you kind of even use your finger to kind of dig into the white trunk, you're going to see a green underlayer. And the reason for that is because during the winter, these aspen trees, even though their leaves are lost, they still participate in photosynthesis, which is very exciting. And they do that with their white trunks. The sunlight is absorbed, and it can still get a little bit of nutrients during the winter time. But when we were camping, a lot of people had carved their names in these trees, and so I can't really use that as a reference. So I'm not painting those. I want my nature to be pure, and there's going to be this little path. But people in my world, they respect nature. This is my little world. They love it. They don't carve their names into trees. They just love nature and just look at it. And when you're painting, you can kind of create your own little world. It's important to do. All right. Little darker areas here and there. Very fun. And we'll continue and might add some darker areas again, but that is very fun, very good. And now we can continue. Next, I'm going to grab a paper towel. Okay. Next, I think I want to just start developing some of these trees to see if it's going to work. I want to work on this little guy, and this little guy, and that one, in these dark areas. And just, I'll start with this one. Let's see if this is going to work. So first, let's mix up a dark color for the dark spots. Let's just do burnt umber, a lot of it, and just a little bit of this blue from what we made earlier. We'll keep it more brown. Let's add a little bit of purple, not too much. A little bit of purple. There we go. A little bit of red. And more burnt umber. Very good. Okay. A little bit more blue. A little bit of Prussian. Get it nice and dark. All right, now with this color, let's think where some of these dark areas can be. And we don't need to be too specific yet. We can just kind of place these in here and there. Hey, there's going to be some little dark marks. I love these aspen trees. It's so fun. It's white with these little dark spots here and there. These trees have a lot of character. I've always loved painting aspen trees. Now I had to look it up. The difference between aspen and birch, it's very slight, but in Arizona we're more likely to have aspen. If you know more about these trees, let me know. Some people are arborists and they really understand these things. That is nice. Just more of these dark areas on the trunk. Right through here, I like all these areas. Just here and there. Not too many, but there. All right. And we'll add more on these other trees as we go along. Let's just test out this one. Okay, let's put in the dark color, which will be kind of bluish. I want a bluish shadow on this side, and the light's coming. It's going to be brighter over here. So let's mix up some white right here. Some Prussian. Ooh, white and Prussian. Check this out. Beautiful. Now that's too saturated. So we'll add burnt umber and a little bit of orange. Orange knocks down my blue. That's why I have it. You think, oh, Thomas, your painting doesn't have much orange in it. Well, orange is very useful. And this cad orange is so powerful that I don't have to use too much, and it really knocks down my blue colors. I really like that. Let's add a little bit of red. A little bit of this purple, not too much. Just a little bit of that purple. A little bit more. Nice. All right, coming up here, let's start placing it on this far side of the tree. Just kind of laying in this shadow. And when I paint, I like to do some very long confident brush strokes, and some shorter ones. And those all come through that variation. So we can do some very long, confident strokes and some shorter, choppy ones. They're all fun. There we go. This far side of the tree, all the way up here. So many people are commenting on my videos. You're kind of like Bob Ross. Happy trees. And they send me these funny videos of Bob Ross. I love it, guys. I just love it. I'm not Bob Ross, and I'm not trying to be him. I'm trying to be myself. I'm just being myself, and this is what I've always wanted to do since I was a little boy. I did watch Bob Ross on TV, and I was fascinated. And I loved the way he spoke, and I loved the way he acted. And he kind of absorbed into my personality. And so this is not a copy or an imitation. This is who I am. This is who I am, folks. And I absolutely love it. I love it. And when I'm painting, gosh, my mind is too occupied to try to pretend to be someone I'm not. That's too difficult for me. I have to just kind of be myself. Oh, I love this. Look at that. It's already taking shape. Look at that. Wonderful. All the way up here. Just placing that color in. Ooh, that's just fun. Add some shape to this, a little bit of shape. Okay. Let's now gray this down just slightly with some burnt umber and some white. And we can sort of make a middle color here that's a little bit lighter, not too much. We'll gray it down with more of this orange there. Okay, we can add some of this to it now, here and there, not too much. This will add a little bit of shape to the trees. Now, I put down that little bit darker blue, and now this lighter blue, it's adding on top of that some dimensionality to these trees. Some dimensionality. Now, I was not expecting this, but some people are commenting that they're painting along with me. I couldn't believe that when I heard it. Couldn't even believe it. Some people are grabbing their paints and painting along, and I am so sorry, folks. I don't make these shows very easy to paint along with. I really don't. I'm doing this for me. I'm not really thinking about that. So if you're painting along, good luck. I wish you the best. Sometimes it can be hard to follow me. Let's get some white. Let's mix it with a little bit of yellow ochre. Now, we don't want to do pure white. I know aspen trees are white, but they're not actually that white. We don't want to do that. All right, a little bit of this blue into it. Knock down some of that yellow. There. Beautiful. Now I don't want too much, but here and there, this even lighter color, we're going to add some more shape to this tree. Look at that, these little marks here and there. A little bit lighter, working our way to the brightest part of the tree. And this is adding a lot of shape, a lot of excitement. Here and there, going sideways, because to show the dimensionality of the tree, I don't want these to look too flat. I want them to have a curvature, just a bit. There, wonderful. And a little bit through here, through here. Wonderful, wonderful. It's been the highlight of my week. Painting a video doing a whole painting every week. It's been wonderful. Really loved it. This is our 10th episode. I couldn't believe it when I heard that. 10th episode. Already. All right, even brighter. A little bit of this yellow. A little bit of orange. A little bit of yellow ochre. A little bit of this blue. And some more white. This will be our brightest color yet. Perfect. All right, coming up here, this is the brightest part of the tree. We'll add a little bit more of a highlight, but this will kind of round off this other side. Over here. Now, this show is probably going to be 2.5 hours long or so, maybe longer. Every show is a different length. This isn't just a quick little show here. So if you get bored, that's okay. That's okay. I understand. I understand. We live in a world with a lot of fast-paced entertainment. A lot of things that are just really fun to watch. Hey, this is really working. It's starting to look a little bit like a tree. Let's think here. Some longer strokes. Doop. And let's kind of give this guy a little love. The sun's hitting him. There. Maybe this side a little bit more. A little brighter. There we go. That little branch can stand out that way by making a little bit brighter on this far side. Remember, with painting, it's all about contrast, all about values. If you don't have a color that's brighter, it won't be communicated. So it's very important. There. Kind of back and forth, blending some of these areas, making little marks here and there. Good, good, good. Now, I really should wait till later to do this, but I'm just too excited. We're going to take more of this white. A little bit of yellow, not too much. Just a little bit of yellow. A little bit of yellow ochre. Check this out. Brightest color yet. And we're just going to place this along this edge to really make it sing. Like the sun's just hitting it. And I'm just going to turn my brush. Just let that paint fall right off. Very thick. Let it just come off the brush. Like that. Just gliding. Not pushing on the canvas, just gliding the paint off. There. Wonderful. Ooh, I love that. And right through here, I want this to be bright. Good. And kind of some sideways strokes to bring it all together. Give it some dimensionality. I think that's just going to work great. So now we can continue to do more of these trees. That's just wonderful. What a delightful tree. And the reason why it's standing out so well is because of what's behind it. That's the trick. All right, this one back here, it's a little bit farther away. I want it to be a little bit darker. So let's use this darker color. Let's darken it up slightly, though. Let's bring it right here. Bring up this black that I had made. And kind of mix these two together. Good. That's a good color. I like it. So now we'll take this and we'll bring it on this far side. And look, where these two trees kind of come together, this one's darker. So now that one shows up against it. Those two colors, those contrasting colors are very important. It's the colors we use and the values we use. That's the most important thing. However, I will say, if you're wanting to get into painting like this, you got to have a strong foundation of sketching. If you can sit and sketch something and make it look kind of like the real thing, you're ready for painting. Some people, though, they just start painting. They don't ever sketch. And that's okay too. You can do whatever you want. There. Minimal effort. I don't want this to look like I labored over it. I want it to look kind of quick. And so to do that, you actually have to paint quick. Just there. Love it. All right, a little bit lighter now. Not quite as bright. Not quite yet. Just coming down the side here, just like before. I like that. Coming through here, all the way down. When it comes down here, let's continue it. There. Wonderful. A little bit lighter, not all the way as bright as before, but some little spots here and there just will make it zing. Just make this just pop. See that? Just a few colors. We can add some dimensionality to these things, make them look three-dimensional. Now going to the side, I'm just going to pull. Randomly, don't want it to be the same. Just pull it with a little bit of a curve, thinking about the curve of the tree. Got to think, painting, it's not sculpture, but it really helps if you think of it as sculpture. When you're painting the tree, think about actually painting a three-dimensional tree. Makes it more fun, and it helps you to create something that's more three-dimensional. All right, good, good, good. all the way up here, even right here on that side. Kind of keep that going. We don't know. Man, I loved this camping trip, seeing these trees. I sat for hours and sketched, and it was just wonderful. I want a little bit of this red color, not too much, just here and there. Give these dark areas a little bit more personality. Some of this dark color too. Let's just place in some darker parts. There we go. Just add some marks here and there. There. And now we can kind of blend this even more. Back and forth. From the dark side going to the light. There. And I want to add a little bit of a darker color on the far side. Just to really make this look darker. There. Kind of fading into the background there. Then we can kind of move it. There. Wonderful. Now I apologize, sometimes I'll be very quiet, and other times I'll get very excited about something, so if you're falling asleep when you watch me, I might wake you up, and I apologize. I apologize. There we go. I've always loved just turning on the camera and talking my whole life. Always loved it. Some more of this burnt sienna right through here. There, that's fun. Just throwing that in against the blue adds a totally different color, different shape, different idea. Okay. There. Down here, let's do some yellow ochre and some burnt umber. Kind of bring that up. Burnt sienna. Give this tree some personality down here. Nice. Just little marks. And this is a little brush. It's almost like painting with a palette knife. I just have one brush that I use. It's very small. And that's the style that I like. It's the style that I enjoy. Yesterday, or maybe the day before, I got some comments about how online about how I don't treat my brushes very well. Some people were laughing. Oh, I know. I don't treat my brushes well, but this is the way that I like to paint. This is fun for me. And I buy these cheap brushes, and I just like to destroy them as I paint. I don't want to just have to always be taking care of fancy brushes. I'm more interested in just getting the paint on the canvas, and that's the way I like to work. And finding your way of working and saying, hey, I know that's a rule, but I don't care. That's important. And I've learned that through many years of being a cinematographer. Made TV commercials for years. I actually still do. I'm filming a TV commercial at the end of this month. And it's very similar to painting. You're painting with light. You have to light a whole set with big lights and make sure that things look good. And I learned a lot about composition and so forth doing that. And that was important for me. And I'm so lucky that I've been able to have a creative job. Creative job that I enjoy. Let's get this darker color. I wanted a distant trunk back here, but not too much information. There. Wonderful. All right, let's continue. Let's continue going. So, let's work on this big tree next. There is going to be some yellow grass down here. So this tree, I want it to be catching a little bit of that. So I'm going to vary the color. And this will make it more interesting. This is more blue. I want this to be a little bit more orange. So we're going to take this orange. Let's take this blue color. Mix it together. There we go. A little bit more blue to knock down that orange. Neutralize it a bit. A little bit of yellow. Good. A little bit of green. Bouncing up off the ground. Reflecting on the white trunk. Excuses. Give yourself excuses to vary the color. Think about it. All right, coming up here. All right, just on this side of the trunk, I just want to lay this in first, the darker side. Coming down. Kind of different strokes. Testing the waters, see if we like it, and I think I do. All right. Coming like that. You know what? I want to add a little bit of this here, on this side of that trunk. Nice. This painting's just coming right along, isn't it? Oh, here and there, just catching. Oh, I like that color. Very different than the blue, so it makes the blue just pop out at you. All right, let's get more of this blue. We'll kind of mix it with this here and there, especially as we go up higher. It's not hitting the grass as much, it's not reflecting as much. Oh, let's just kind of... Great. Not too much paint, just a little bit. You see, at first with oil paints, you want to do a little bit, the first coat needs to be kind of dry. If you just glob on the paint right away, you don't really have anywhere to go. You can't continue. A little bit darker here. I want to just lay this in. One big confident stroke. One big stroke. Just there. And that comes through. Wow. You know? That comes through. Okay. Let's keep going here. A lot more of this blue. This trunk. I want to put in a few dark spots with this dark color. Just here and there. Not too many, but little spots. There. I like that. Good, good, good. Now the lighter color. Very, very bright as we can get. This other side. Just kind of zing it across here. And going every which way. And sometimes with these organic things, I like to do these long choppy motions. Like kind of think angularly. It's kind of fun. Right on this side of that trunk, think where the light's hitting. It's hitting here, it's hitting here. Oh, a little bit on that. Oh, a little bit of this brighter one, just here and there. Just make that sing. See that? The lighter color just gives it some shape and dimensionality. That's exciting. That's very exciting. All right, more of this light color. I want to add more yellow to it, especially at the bottom here. I want it to be a little bit more yellowy. Like that. Ooh, that's fun. That'll really work. Reflections. What's happening around it. Great. Right. Working our way up. And up here, we'll just have it be a little bit darker so it doesn't draw too much attention to itself. Just a little something. We'll put a bunch of leaves up here. And all right, let's keep going. We'll work on this big guy. And we can drop in the darkest color first. Darkest color first, right along here, working our way down. Oh, man, I love painting trees, especially aspen trees. There's a lot of colors. And there's a lot of excuses for a lot of colors that you can find. That's more fun. There. And through here. Good. Let's put some on that guy. Beautiful. Okay. Now this is impressionistic. This is not realistic, it's impressionistic. And I like that. But I do hope that my paintings give some sense of realism, that you'd see it and go, oh, wow, I feel like I've seen something like that in real life, but it just looks a little bit different than I would expect. Now, the bottom of these trees, a lot of times they're pretty dark. Pretty dark. Little critters come and they scratch off things. So, you gotta just kind of make the bottoms of these darker. Here and there. Okay, working our way up, just some more marks. Pretty haphazard. Nature is just random, so just be random with it. Just let your hand be random. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Come on. There's a million ways to make a painting. You don't need to overthink it. You really don't. There's a million different ways. You could do it any way you want. Make it look great. So many different styles. And when we stress too much about it, that comes through. If you see an effortlessness in a painting, which I hope to achieve with my paintings, a bit of an effortlessness. If you see that, you'll also see stress in some paintings. Which, if you want that to be communicated, that's great. But when I paint, I want this to be my happy place. I want this to be where I can be comfortable and just be me and not worry about things. And just kind of be in the moment. That is so important. In our busy lives today, we're just not in the moment enough. We don't take the time to just sit still and be with our thoughts. I struggled with that for many years. Someone in the comments just yesterday, they said, hey, stop trying to push this meditation thing on me. I tried meditating and it made things worse. And I have the strongest sympathies. I really do. And I understand. Now, here's the thing about meditation. Here's the thing. At first, when you're alone with your thoughts and you're sitting there, if you haven't done it before, it is torture. And it was for me, torture. And your mind goes to dark thoughts, existential worries about existence and so forth. You'll be surprised at where your mind can go, and it will just go dark, and it'll be difficult. And some people, if that's too hard for you, don't worry about it. But I promise that there is light on the other end, and it took me 10 years of really hard work to just be able to understand my thoughts. Sorry, I don't think I've ever cried on this show before, but that's where it's all at. It's where it's all going on. Your head. It's happening in your head, your thoughts. And if you can't be alone with those thoughts, you can't be alone with yourself. It's hard. My wife had a friend recently who couldn't handle it anymore. Couldn't be alone with her thoughts anymore. Couldn't keep it up. Couldn't keep up the charade of dodging her demons. You got to face them. You got to fight. Face those demons. We all have them. You got to understand them. Otherwise, it just comes out as anger or hatred or confusion. But you got to explore. You got to understand your mind. Understand what's happening. Work at it. Don't give up. There's hope. There's a lot of hope. There really is. All right. Gonna keep going here. All these different parts of the tree. All this dimensionality here. Very good. Ooh, I want some orange and a little bit of this yellow, this other color. We'll mix that together and we'll do some orange down here. This will be fun. There. A little bit there too. Fun. Very good. And some of the base of these dark areas, we'll add a little bit of this lighter color. Good. So yeah, I'm here to tell you that there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of hope to be had. You can get through those hard times I have, but they continue. Life keeps throwing you new challenges, but you kind of stop wanting life to give you something. You stop demanding that life performs the way you want it to, and you kind of just give up and admit, you know what? I don't know. I'm just gonna admit that I don't have the answers anymore. When we do that, we can really find peace through that humility. All right. This is really working great. I love it. All right, before we move on, I want to put a little bit more of this greenish yellow color over here, just here and there. Not too much, but just reflecting on parts of this trunk on the dark side. And then we'll work on some of these leaves up top. First we'll do darker green and then lighter and lighter green. Good. All right. That's fun. Kind of random. These trees are just so fun. So much color. So much color. Okay. Let's come up here and we'll do some dark green. So we're going to take our sap green. Perfect color for that. Perfect. Let's get some burnt umber mixed in. Okay. Just here and there. You know what? I want to tone it down with a little bit more red. Not too saturated. There. That's better. Like a greenish brown color. Just here and there. I just want to sprinkle this in. It'll add a lot of depth in a minute. Especially up here. And just kind of scrub this around. Haphazardly. Think leaf thoughts. Leaf thoughts. Coming down here up against this black. Just give it a little bit of texture and love. All the way up here. Dark green. Very, very, very dark green. Kind of cap off some of these trees. You can't see them anymore. They're going into the leaves. Around this trunk here and there. Just a little bit of darkness. Right up against it. And some little marks to kind of make it look like little leaves here and there. All right. See, we're varying our brush strokes. And it's a feeling thing. We can feel it out. Let's put some up here. Some dark stuff. I think that might balance out this picture. Something like that. Good, good. And through here. Fun. This bright side, let's kind of get some dark colors right up to it. Make it pop later. Good. Not too much paint. Pretty thin in most places. Try it. Look at that. We can get that all the way up there. Very dark. Kind of going in front of these. Okay. Liking it. Let's make a lighter green, and I want something that's a little bit bluish, a little bit light. I'm going to add some white to this, not too much. There, that's what I'm looking for. All right, let's use this color now. And we'll just start putting in little marks here and there. Kind of in random spots, random areas, little dots. All over, up here against this dark. Oh, that's nice. This is the color. This kind of green is the color of these aspen leaves. But when they hit the sun, they get yellow and they glow. It's very exciting when that happens. All the way to the top of the canvas. We don't have to fill up the whole thing, and we'll kind of go around these dark spots. Kind of keep those in place. Remember, think paint by numbers. Don't go over areas too much. If we go over paint areas too much, it starts globbing on. That happens to me sometimes. That's okay. All right. Kind of like that. Kind of going in front of this trunk. Good, good, good. Think three-dimensionality. Where are these branches coming from? Okay. Fun. Little spots here and there. Let's go in with some darker. Just kind of fill in some of these areas more that we didn't hit. Very carefully. Bring Bring some darkness back in. And the texture of these leaves will show through. And it'll help communicate a little bit of detail. We don't have to do quite as much detail as you'd think. Sometimes just the texture of the paint is saying something. That's nice. When the paint can sort of say something. All right. Darkness through here in the corner. Really dark. I love it. All right, that's great. These will be some of our darkest leaves that we have. Okay. Let's go through here now with this darker color. Just a few more spots. Not too many. Just here and there. Especially up here at the top. Okay. Now more of this lighter green. This lighter green color. So yeah, like I was saying earlier, you know, you got to be able to be alone with your thoughts. And I know many of us have traumas and past memories and family problems and things that we've endured, and those surface, and then existential thoughts surface. And why are we even alive? What's it all about? All of those thoughts start to bubble to the surface, and it becomes very uncomfortable when you're alone with your thoughts. When you're sitting there and just doing nothing. And then what eventually happens, and it takes a long time, is your thoughts will calm, and you'll learn that you don't have to pick them up. You can just leave them where they're at. You don't have to pick up these thoughts all the time. You'll kind of realize that your thoughts aren't you. Just a little bit of this yellow, just adding it to it. Just a little bit of sunshine hitting some of these parts. There. Here and there, not too much. A little bit of white to it. Dull that down. More yellow. Ooh, let's get some bright spots here. This will be fun. Just here and there. Some bright green. But yeah, eventually sitting there. Meditation's a word for it, but some orange here to warm this up. I like warm yellow. Think of it as meditation, but you know, eventually, after you've worn through all of those difficult, horrifying thoughts, there's a calm. And when we learn that we are not our thoughts, and that we don't have to just pick up every single thought, and we can just kind of choose what we focus on. That changed everything for me. I remember years ago, I think I've mentioned this before, but I remember I was sitting with a therapist, and she said, yeah, be more positive. Think positive. Come on, Thomas. And I said, well, I'm not delusional. The world is a horrifying place. Horrible things are happening every day. Well, am I supposed to just ignore that? Am I supposed to ignore the existential situation that I'm in? I couldn't understand it. And then it dawned on me. Not that day, but another day. It dawned on me. It's all stories. Reality is just a bunch of stories we tell ourselves. Beyond just the harsh reality of nature. Sometimes feels cold. Beyond that, it's human ideas, human thoughts. And so if we want to tell ourselves that we're okay, give ourselves a little peace, we can do that. We can do that. We can tell ourselves any stories we want. We can give ourselves some positive stories. Just trying to see if these leaves work here, and I think they do. Where would the light be catching here and there? Not too much, but I think that's going to work. That'll be fun. Just kind of a haphazard, kind of random leaves coming down. Little marks here and there. You don't have to paint Each individual leaf, just little marks will suffice. Across the room, it'll look like foliage. There. Good. See, this is across the room art. It's not when you get up close. Famously, one of the Impressionists said, well, these Impressionist paintings aren't meant to be smelled. They're meant to be seen across the room. And that's true. Look at them across the room. Color. Basic idea. Just a little bit. Here and there. All right. And we'll keep going. Let's do the other side here. More of this lighter green color, a little bit of yellow there, some white. There we go. A little bit of blue. Not too much. Nice. All right, we'll put this in here and there. This kind of dark green color, a little bit more blue. Nice. And just placing in this darker green, and then we can come in with a lot of different other tones and add more colors. And what's fun about this, varying the color. Don't just mix up one green and just use it over and over and over again. Vary the color here and there. Vary the texture. Some of this brown color, we'll kind of lay this in. Here and there. Orange. That's fun. Not too much, just here and there. A lot of different colors and shades. It's all an illusion. Painting's just an illusion. We're alluding to things. It's just a two-dimensional surface, but you're trying to communicate three-dimensionality, and by embracing extremes like this dark and the light trunks, it looks more three-dimensional. So that's why a photo sometimes can look so flat. And so if you try to copy a photo, sometimes it just won't work. Sometimes it does, but when you're copying photos, it can look kind of flat. The paintings can look kind of dull. So understanding composition is crucial. Very important. All these little leaves. I want to do it darker green first. Not too much though, because this is entering the sunlight a little bit more. But I want some darker spots. There. So, the sky's going to be right here. Just coming around. Look at that, just little marks here and there. Little marks. Very good. So yeah, a painting and art helps us enter the present moment. There's a lot of people who talk about the present moment. Eckhart Tolle is one of them. He's a teacher who helps people meditate and so forth. And he doesn't offer a belief system, but he does offer ways of coping with life. And I am adamantly against, personally for myself, having a belief system. I know that might sound jarring to some, but I don't like human beliefs. I like truth. And where I can find it, I embrace it. But yeah, Eckhart Tolle talks about how we can be in the present moment. And the power of the present. And it's true. It's true, we can do that. We can enter the present moment. Just here and there, I want to see what this will be like. Oh, that'll look good. That'll be good. Okay, let's keep going. So this orangey color, here and there, not too much. And we can get there through art. There's a lot of ways. You can pay attention to your breath, so forth. But you got to be willing, and you got to be humble to humble yourself and say, you know what? I'm going to stop thinking. I'm going to stop trying to find the answers. I'm going to stop assuming that there is an answer. You can kind of get there. A space of just peace, quiet in your heart. All right. Almost like pointillism here. Little marks here and there. Just varying the colors. Let's put in some red. Gosh darn it, let's break some rules and do some red. See that? Against the green, it can kind of look fun. Make some of the green spots stand out more. You can just do whatever you want. There's a lot of unexpected colors in nature. If you sit and stare, colors start popping out at you. But anything you choose, anything that you love, that you choose, that you want to pursue, that brings you fulfillment and happiness, it can get you to that spot. That's the trick. I think each one of us are born with an aptitude towards certain activities that can elicit that present feeling. Some people climb mountains to get there. Some people travel, some people sketch, some lawyers, when they're buried in paperwork, working until 2 o'clock in the morning, time flies. And they get out of it and they think, wow, I can't believe it was 6 hours. 6 hours of joy where I was just going through paperwork trying to solve this case here. You know? That can be art for some folks. And that's what qualifies for me as art. That's when it is. When the artist has entered that mindless space, you can tell. You can see it. Not mired down by problems. It's joy on the canvas. It's love. That's what I saw with Van Gogh. I saw love on his canvas. Total ecstasy and joy. And pain. Holding on. And when I started painting again, after a long hiatus in my life, it was a lifeline for me. Painting was a lifeline. I realized that. I needed it. It saved me. It saved me. But it's also very important to remember that art is completely useless. Art means nothing. Means nothing. Like I say, everything is going to be gone. The world is going to burn someday. The sun is going to consume the earth, and everything will be ash. So everything that doesn't remain is pointless. When you take time out of the equation and look at life like that, you come to realize that our human experience right now, that's what matters. Nothing else exists. It's all an illusion. It's all human ideas. The past, who came up with that? Doesn't exist. Memories, those exist. The past is nowhere. Nowhere to be found. It's an illusion. It's a human idea. And then people started writing books about time machines, and we started thinking, oh, if I could just go back in time. Like Uncle Rico and Napoleon Dynamite. Man, if I could just go back in time, I'd take state. If Coach would have just put me in fourth quarter, we would have won for sure. Just regrets. We don't need to do that way. We don't need to live that way with regrets all the time about everything. Constantly thinking about the past. We can just be here now. Here. Right here. But it's painful for some people. They don't want to be here. It's extremely painful to be present with their thoughts. So they distract themselves. And I know, I did this for many years. They distract themselves with TV shows and music and politics, ideas, human ideas. And they're consumed with ideas. And they forget that there's a real world, and they don't even realize it. They don't even realize that they've lost the real world. So, because when you're in thought land, when you're thinking all the time, thinking about human concepts, that's not reality. Those are human concepts. Those are just little ideas in your brain. But peace can come when we realize that right here, right now, is true. It's real. Truth. Truth is obvious. Truth is transferable. Truth is provable. And nature offers that truth without an explanation, which humans are desperate for. We always want everything to make sense. But why? We don't get that explanation. We don't get those answers. And so when we're angry and we're constantly trying to figure out the answers, the unanswerable questions about life, the point of it all, it can consume us and draw us away from reality. But when we humble ourselves and admit that we cannot find the answer, things change. There's this idea. There's an old idea of a Zen master sending his student off on little adventures. Go to the top of this mountain and retrieve the purple flower, and then you will be a master. The student goes, comes back. I've retrieved the purple flower. Oh, but there's another test. Now, go to this place and do this impossible thing. Oh, I've done that. Okay. And they'll send that student out over and over again until the student realizes that there was no answer to be found in the first place. It wasn't even there. Just deciding that you don't need that answer and just sitting with it and being comfortable with not knowing, that's the true prize. Oh, fun. Look at that. All this bright greenery through here. Very, very fun. Starting to just take some shape here. I'm going to step back and see our progress and take a little break here. Then we'll continue working. All right, I want to work on this area here. And I want it to be kind of blue in the shadows, not as dark as this, lighter, and then working our way up some lighter greens that are farther away, and just kind of do this area around these trees. So let's mix up a darker, kind of bluish color. I don't have a lot of room left, but I'll add some right here. Let's get some Prussian blue right through here. There we go. Let's add some more. There we go. Some of the darker areas, we can start with burnt umber and whatever color we want. With the lighter areas, we can start with white. And knowing your different values, very, very important. Got to have strong values. All right, a little bit of burnt umber to that. Nice. Ooh, I love it. Tone it down a little bit with the orange, not too much. There. Isn't this fun? This is coming along great. Okay, let's come up here with this blue color. Right through here in these dark areas, I just want to put this in. There's going to be some little trunks here, so I don't want to cover up all these areas, just some of them. Kind of work this blue color in right through here. Vibrant blue shadows. I really like to push my shadows towards the blue end when I can, or kind of purpley. Just kind of fun. Any excuse I can have to add different colors into the painting, I'll take it. Come on. Life's short. Have some colorful, fun paintings, you know? Here we go. Like that. Kind of through here. Some darker areas. Kind of in the background. See, there's different planes. There's this plane. There's that one. There's another one. And then there's one in the background. And each one has to have special attention, different colors, different values. An understanding that comes with experience, time. If you're just starting out painting and you're not happy with how your work is looking, hey, give it time. Give it time. A little bit darker of a bluish color. Now I'm going to mix it with this darker burnt umber. There. Just kind of some of these darker areas towards the base. There. Add some dimensionality to some of these areas, especially in the shadows here. Just placing that in. Not too much. Just a little bit. Nice. Let's keep this going up a little bit higher. all the way to the edge, a little bit off the edge of the canvas. That's important. And, there we go. Let's get some of this lighter color. There's some distant pine trees here that are just kind of hanging out. Wanted some variety. So varying this blue color helps different ones stand out. Just gonna have their own little plane. Distance here. All right. Loving it. A little bit through here, not too much. Just want to rub this blue in. It'll come through in some of these shadowy areas through here. We're going to add some green through here. And then over here, I kind of want some distant mountains or trees. Not too much. I don't want to draw attention from our main subject. And our main subject is actually this and maybe this. But this is our main guy. That's what the eye will go to first, I hope. Maybe these. Maybe it'll go there. All right. Wonderful. All right. Let's mix up or use this. We'll just use this lighter green color. I like this. Let's add some white to it because it's farther away. There. Tone that down a little bit of blue. Farther away. There. I like that. Let's come up here. All right, let's just start placing in some distant greenery. Not too much. Some distant greenery here. Just here and there and there and here. Far away. A little bit lighter. Now I added white because when things get farther away, they get less saturated. Now normally adding white to green, it can kind of make it look a little pale, but you know, depending on where it is, this can really work. And I'm not doing as many individual leaves. This is closer. So I want this style in the background to be a little bit different. And we can use our brush strokes to communicate depth as well. Every opportunity that we have to kind of communicate depth in a different way, we'll take it. We'll take it. Anything that works. And with my style of painting, I really like to embrace the paint. The way it works, the way it moves. Don't fight against it. Just kind of embrace it. Just kind of work with the paint. There. All through here. You know, you got to be confident with your style. People are going to challenge you. People in your life are going to say, nah, I don't like it. I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't think your art's very good for this reason, that reason. You know, you got to have confidence. You got to say, you know what? I know you don't like it, but I do. I do like it. That's what matters. Or sometimes we can take improvements from people. That's important too. You know, in my career as a cinematographer, I have had to really work creatively with a lot of different people, a lot of different opinions, a lot of different demands. There's going to be, what are they called? Focus groups where people meet together and talk about the ads, and they'll say, oh, I don't like this or that. I've got to take correction, you know. Got to refilm things, reanalyze things. Sometimes the producer or some people involved, they have different opinions, different agendas. And so you can't just be like, no, I'm not going to work with you. You got to be able to work creatively with others in that field. Now, a painter, they don't exactly have to work creatively unless they're doing commissions. They don't have to work creatively with others. They can just kind of do what they want. And that's one of the reasons why I love painting so much, because it's kind of a time where I can do what I want. I don't have to answer to anyone. I don't have to worry about agendas or quotas or quarterly reports. I can just do what I want. It's more fun that way. Okay, let's add in some of these trunks, just some lighter color here. Not too much. Not too much. Look at that. And some extra little limbs coming off. Don't make it too fence posty. There. And through here we can just kind of place in this color. Just the least amount. There. There. Some distant things going on right up to the sketch of the tree. Right up to it. Some darker colors through here, just kind of giving some dimensionality to this tree. As trees get darker, at the base of a tree, it'll get a lot darker. That's common. So we can work in some darker colors at the base here. That's okay. Not too much though. It's farther away. There. Just little bits of color here and there, and there and here. All right. Good, good, good. A little bit more of this green, just not too much, just some stray leaves here. Just kind of the edge of that. Good. Good, good. Just little guys, not too many. Little guys we're seeing in the distance here. Just a whisper in the dark here. Love it. All right, let's work on this area. Let's mix up this beautiful light blue color right over here. Don't have much room left. I need to clean off my palette soon. Let's add some white to that. Farther away, farther away. A little bit of purple. Yeah, that helps things look farther away. All right, just placing in this distant idea. One plane, then we'll do one above it. Just some of this blue. Distant hills. And the sky color will be a lot brighter, so it'll look good. All right. Just through here, not too much, just as much as we need. Just kind of give the indication here of distant hill. Great. And kind of working in like that. Great. Now let's add a little bit lighter and more purpley. Okay? A little bit lighter and more purpley. Is that a bunch of white? A little bit too much purple there. There we go. That's what we want. All right, let's come up here. All right, not too much, just far away in the distance here. Just kind of another purple hill that's farther away. Different value, different plane. Sneaking through. There's going to be some leaves here. It'll sneak through there a little bit. There, blend these. Blend them up. Great. I love that purple. That purple color communicates distance. It really works. So if you want to communicate distance in your paintings, use purple in the distance. Sometimes it's fun in the foreground too. In fact, sometimes I like to take colors like this and just kind of incorporate it here and there, not too much. Just kind of bring that color into different parts of the painting. Here and there. Here and there. Just some of that blue color. That's fun. Just here and there. Good. All right. And let's go ahead and do the sky. That'll be a lot lighter of a color. Let's take our white. Oh man, I'm running out of space. I will clean the palette here soon. All right, look at that blue. Oh, that's what we want. Okay, a very bright sky. This will make the trees pop even more. Let's just be extreme with our colors. Very, very bright. Bright sky. Love it. Just kind of working it in. I don't want the texture of the canvas to show through. And I really love using these linen canvases. A lot of times cotton canvases, they have a lot more texture. And doesn't always work for oil paintings for me. I don't like seeing that canvas texture. Some people love it. They like seeing that canvas texture. But I don't. So I like this. I've thought about painting on wood. Maybe one of these days I'll do a wood painting. That'll be fun. It really soaks up the paint more and gives a totally different effect. That can be fun. But these linen canvases are very fun to paint with and to work with. Very easy. All right, just working this bright color in. Make sure it doesn't touch anything else. It's very important when you're painting to keep colors separated when you want them to be clean. And a bright color like this, it can be diluted so fast if you let it smear with other paints. You got to be careful. Got to be careful. And if it does smear, just clean off your brush and keep going. That's okay. You can always fix things with oil paints. Go over it. Try again. I'm going to go around this top part, leaving a little bit of space. I just want to keep this blue clean. There we go. Very clean. I don't want any of this green in the sky. Just bright. And let that texture show through. Let this just go right up to this dark section. These are dark leaves next to the bright sky. values like this that are very different, they can get very messy very fast. You don't want that. You want these colors to stay clean and vibrant next to the dark ones. There. Love that. A lot of this blue color, just texture. That's good. Just working that through. I'm going to add more paint even. Let's just let the sky just be thick. A lot of texture in this bright part of the sky. Like I've said earlier, the brighter colors, you can really just use a lot of paint. It catches the light and it sparkles in real life. Now, as you see real paintings, you can walk around them and you can see how the light interacts with the paint and the different textures and so forth. I want to add some more of this just through here, just breaking up these leaves. There. Wonderful. That'll be some of the brightest parts of our painting there. That sky. All right, you know what? Let's go ahead and paint down here. There's going to be some dark colors. It'll be a lot of fun. Let's grab some of this green, some burnt umber. Let's just make it dark green. A little bit of blue. What the heck? It's in the shadows. Let's add in some dark, saturated green colors down here. Really make this deep. I like the corners of my paintings to be dark, so I always make excuses for dark things to be in the foreground. And a lot of times when things are closer to you, they can be more dynamic, darker, brighter, and darker. And that communicates depth as well. All right, any excuse you have to convey depth and dimensionality, make a painting more interesting, take it. You know, you can do that. You can do that. All through here, just very dark. I want some dark greenery through here. All the way to this corner. Let's just really fill this in. We'll put some lighter colors on top and add some dimensionality, but you got to lay these down first. You got to lay down the dark tones. Now, with watercolors, you actually do the lightest parts. Well, the very, very widest would be the paper itself. You can add some brighter spots, but, you know, it's different with watercolors. And then acrylics, very, very different. Acrylics dry so fast, you can do so many more things. For me, however, the texture of acrylic paint, I struggle with. I was an acrylic painter for years, and I switched back to oils, and just changed everything for me. It really did. Made my life a lot more enjoyable when I switched to oils. But a lot of people, like my brother, he's an artist. He paints with acrylics. He likes that. You got to find what you like and do it. And I think there's too much listening to other people, too much trust in other people's opinions. And at first, yes, learn from the masters, learn from the greats, copy them at first. But then find your own voice, find your own method. And the way you do that is by finding the way you like to work. Find the way you like to work. Let's add some even darker tones through here, just here and there, not too much. Even darker, especially in this corner there. See that? And I'm just going up and down like this is grass. Right there in the corner, all the way to the edge. Dark spots. Dark, dark, dark. Good. And over here, just some very dark areas, all the way to the edge. All right. Now this path, I want to kind of have a brownish color to start. Let's, you know what? I need to clean off my palette. It's time, folks. I always push this off till the last minute. All right, let's organize this palette. I like some of these colors. These dark ones are taking up a lot of space, so we're just going to kind of annex them over here. Some blue colors. We'll just put that there. Don't copy me, folks. This is not how you should be treating your palette. That being said, great art doesn't come always from a very organized palette. You don't have to have a very organized way of working or obey all the rules for you to make great art. If you've ever seen Van Gogh's palette, it was a beautiful thing, very messy. And that's how he works. And if you are kind of like me and you know, your brain is kind of haphazard and scattered, that's okay. You can paint still. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to obey all the rules and do everything they teach you in art school. All right, just gonna clean off some of these areas and just make some more space. Nice, that'll do it for a while. Perfect. All right, now I want to cover up a lot of this area with very bright leaves that are in the sun. And I want the sky poking through, so I'm going to do some little sky areas here and there, not too much, just little marks, and I'll make sure not to cover these later. Just little parts for the sky to show through. Kind of like the leaves are, letting you see the sky through them once in a while. Just here and there. Not too many. Something like that. Okay. Now, we're going to make 2 yellows. Ooh, I need more yellow. We're going to make a darker yellow and a lighter yellow. We can darken it up with some burnt umber, a little bit of green. Okay. Here's some yellow, burnt umber. Mix those together. Perfect. That'll be our darker yellow. So let's place this in here and there. I just want some parts kind of towards the base of some of these areas. There's going to be some branches here. Some green, darker yellow, kind of in the sun. We can brighten up some of these areas coming towards this. There. Not too much, just here and there. Work it into this other section so the color seems, unified. Just little marks. And through here we can just do random little marks, not too many. Just random little darker green areas. Very good. And through here. Don't need to think too much about this, just need to kind of work through instinct and lay some parts in here that might work. All right. Beautiful. Now let's get this lighter yellow, and we're going to brighten it up with white to make it very bright. Very, very bright. Perfect. Ooh, that's going to be fun. Let's try this. A little bit of orange. Warm it up. Warm it up. A little bit. Not too much. Ooh, there we go. That's what I want. All right, let's come up here. And up here, we can start laying in some very bright areas. And it's bright, yellowy leaves. Very, very bright. It's going to mix with some of these other colors, and that's okay. It's going to kind of allude to detail. We don't have to paint every single little detail here. We can just kind of let the paint work for us. Very good. Through here, very bright. And we'll add more in a minute, make it even brighter. Good. I'll carry some of this through here. Good. And add more of this. Just kind of working around these darker green areas we put in and around the sky. We can kind of just place this yellow by the blue without touching it. We'll add some more color around that. Kind of seal that blue in there. All right. Kind of through here, very, very bright. Bright yellow. Sun's hitting it. This will look good. And after we put down this layer, we can put in some even brighter yellow. That's what we do. We work darker to lighter. Once you have that kind of firmly understood, painting becomes a lot easier. Less accidents, less mud mixing. But sometimes I get so excited I forget. Sometimes my paints aren't quite working the way I want them to, and that's okay. We all make mistakes. We don't need to be perfect. There. Fun. Right. I don't want these to touch too much. No, more yellow. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Fun. Let's add some more. A little bit darker too. What? Ooh, you know what? Let's mix some yellow ochre with it. That'll give it some variation. Nice. Let's put this in some places. Nice. Just through here and there. Man, this camping trip was fun though. We saw a lot of beautiful, beautiful spots. Took long walks and just really enjoyed ourselves as a family. Beautiful areas. Couldn't believe it. And at night when we slept, it was very windy. Very, very windy. A lot of harsh wind. And I don't go camping very often. And we didn't sleep very well. And if you camp a lot, you'll know you don't usually sleep very well when you're camping. Maybe if you camp a lot and you're used to it, but we're sort of used to our cushy lives. They're simple little lives. So this morning I was taking a hot shower. It was raining outside, and I just thought, wow, I'm so lucky that I get to have this and all of our creature comforts that we have. Not everyone has them. We need to be grateful when we have those. Acknowledge our privilege, where we were born into, If you're born into a poor family in a poor country, it can be harder to change your life or to have a comfortable life. And it's very important to acknowledge all of our privileges and to acknowledge our struggles. Understand them. And everyone has deep struggles. Sometimes it can look like someone's very wealthy and very happy when really inside they're very sad. Not all the people who have the outward success have the inward success. And that's why I decided that my life doesn't need to look successful to the outside world or to me. It doesn't need to look that way. It needs to feel inside that way. That's what matters. Do you feel at peace? Are you happy with where you're at in life? Or are you miserable? Let's not be miserable. Let's not be living so many years doing all the things we hate. Move, if you can. If you hate where you're at in the world, move. That being said, once we've really found peace, it doesn't really matter where we live. We can find peace anywhere we're at and just love it. And that kind of happened to me. I used to hate Arizona. I used to hate the weather. I used to hate the cactus here. But then I grew to embrace it. And I grew to love it and see the beauty in it. And we can see beauty in all sorts of things. We can change and we can learn to love things that we used to not like. I remember when I was a kid, I was a picky eater. Then I discovered foods that I liked. One time I remember my brother kind of teasing me for ordering a hamburger that was plain with plain ketchup. So I tried a real hamburger with all the fixings on it. I enjoyed it. And that day I learned a lesson, to try new things. Try new things. Let's not get stuck in our ways too much. Try new things. Like the song from Zootopia says, try everything. Try it out. Give it a try. Give it a try. You never know what you'll love, what you'll like. Might surprise you. And it might be embarrassing. It might be something, ooh, I like that. That's kind of embarrassing. Friends and family might think that's weird. Hey, do it anyway. So many people, they don't do what they love because they think it'll be embarrassing. Look, these are a little bit farther away, so I'm just having fun with this texture. I'm twirling the brush, and I'm not doing quite as many. I just like kind of that look. I'm really enjoying that for these leaves here, so I'm going to keep that up. Sometimes new ways of moving the brush can kind of bring life to certain areas. Make it more fun. Brightening up these areas. This is the fun spot. This is the fun part. Just Adding the brightest highlights to some of these. And you're supposed to do this last. But I get too excited, carried away. It's too much fun. Way too much fun. Here and there and here, not too much. We can kind of let that canvas show through as well. And I think I'll work on that more as we keep going, but ooh, look at that. I like that. Little marks, little zings here and there. Ooh. Not too much. There. Little ways that this, well, let's put in some darker colors through here. Some more. Kind of fill that in. There. Ooh, I'm really enjoying this painting. It's coming along great. It's very dynamic. It's very, there's a lot of different color shifts and a lot going on here. And that's what draws our eye. So when you're painting, remember, if it looks good across the room and you can see big value changes, it's probably going to look good, you know? Or if you can make the image very, very small on your phone so you can't see much and it still looks good, that's what you want. And you get that through strong value shifts. That's what the eye is drawn to. Light and dark, light and dark. That's the basis of art. And we need to understand that. That's very important. Otherwise, our work will look plain and boring, and it won't grab anyone's attention. Won't grab anyone's attention. But paint the way you want to, even if people reject it. Even if someone like me says, hey, that's not dynamic enough. There aren't enough value shifts. Don't listen. Do what you want. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. You gotta believe in yourself. When you're painting especially, just believe in yourself. Know that you know what to do. If you just trust your hand and kind of turn off your mind, you can do it. You can do this. A little bit of wind through the trees. I want it to kind of be moving. We do that with some directional brushwork. There. Fun. All right, let's continue working. Let's put in some of these background colors. I want the sun to just be hitting right through here, a whole string of just hard light, because it's going to separate this dark area. So let's hit it with some yellow, just like up top, just little bits here and there, just right along here. There. I'm just going to move my brush, kind of twirl it, let these colors just kind of lay in here. Far distant grass. Nice. I like that. And I'm just going to move my brush like this. It's far away. Just kind of letting these colors blend. And look at that. We can just move our brush and create the illusion of some grass really far away. Just the illusion of grass being hit by the sun. Very far away. I want to get more white. Kind of dull this, or make it less saturated and brighter in parts. Very good. There. I don't want this to draw too much attention to itself, though. I kind of want to keep things minimal through here. Not too much attention. Just little bits. Haphazard marks, letting the canvas show through here and there. That'll look good. A little bit darker. Darker colors. Like that. Nice. A little bit through here. The light is leaking right through there. Little marks. Not too much, just keeping it simple. The least amount of brushwork possible. What communicates that depth, that color? What's working? All right. That's a fun little strip of sunshine. We can kind of add more of this zing of, oh, look at that. Really bright. Okay. Now, let's add some darker parts through here. I want this to get kind of dark, but I also want some of the light to be showing through. There. Far away, just sort of, let's grab some of this, a little bit of blue, a little bit of this green. Just kind of lay in some darker or brighter spots. I want this green more there. Sort of alluding to these trees that are catching a little bit of light and then fading into the dark. Look at that. Don't need too many, just little bits. Little textures. There. Great. And let's take this lighter color, put in some bright branches that are being hit far away, just sort of different trunks, kind of like over here. Just a few more. Oh, not too many. This one's a little thick for me. I'm gonna sort of cover that up a little bit with some darker blue, both sides. There. Oh, good. Work that in, a little lighter there. I like that. And then this light color, just kind of there. Working that in. Good. Pretty far away. All right. A little bit of darker, shadowy color. Because the sun's coming this way, just a little bit darker. Right through here. There. Not too much. Don't need too much. A little bit of this, just mixing random colors here, just doing what I want. Working this blue towards us a little bit more. There, good, that shadowy color. Just sort of combining these two. All right, as things get closer with us, let's introduce some more orange. That'll be fun, with some yellow. Good orange. Beautiful. Some more yellow. A little bit of yellow ochre with that, naturalize it, tone down some of that saturation. Beautiful. A little bit of red. A little bit of red. All right. So now with this color, we can kind of lay in another layer here and kind of work this orange. Ooh, the sun is really hitting that. That's just bright. Fun. Let's just do this. See, I'm just moving my brush random ways. Good, good. Some orange and yellow mixed. Can make a very bright kind of orange. Gonna let the sun just be hitting some of these bits of grass through here. Nice. Sun's just playing, hitting through here. Good. A little bit of green. Nice. Natural. Yet, exaggerated for the painting. Ooh, some of this. Burnt sienna. There. A little bit of darker tones. Not too much. Don't want to overwork it. There. And more of this green color. A little bit more. A little bit of blue added to that. Fun. And this green is just kind of working towards us. We'll fill it in. These are going to be some rocks. So we'll kind of fill in those areas soon. Fun. I kind of want to leave this unfinished right through here. I don't know why. It's just kind of, just barely any paint. Maybe we'll revisit this, but I just kind of like the idea of keeping this sort of unfinished right through here. Not covering the canvas all the way. There. Man, this is fun, isn't it? Painting should be fun. And if it's not fun, make it fun. Make it fun for yourself. And if you still try and it's not fun, maybe you shouldn't be painting. Find the thing that's just fun. Have some fun. That's what life's all about. Enjoying your time. Finding things that you enjoy, that you love doing. You can do that. Ooh, these colors are just beautiful through here. Ooh, I want some dark greens, kind of at the base of some of these trees. Dark green, right through here. Let's add some lighter kind of greens through here. Sun's sneaking through and hitting. There. Little foliage, just turning my brush here and there. There. Kind of working that through, making some magic. That's what painting is. It's magical for me. Very magical. I want this to kind of through here. I don't want any hard edges through here. I really want to soften this because it's kind of farther away. There. There. Like that. Okay. Very fun. Good stuff. Sun's kind of dancing through here, playing. Bits of grass. Okay. Great, great, great. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Just beautiful. Oh, good. Just kind of good. Good, good, good. All right, let's continue. We're just having too much fun here. A little bit of the blue here against this trunk. I want to darken this up here so the tree can stand out even brighter. All right. We'll do more work through there in a minute. Ooh, let's add some dark green right up front here. Just make this darker around this tree. I really want it just dark. We'll add some lighter colors later through here, but that's great. All right. Hey, the moment we've all been waiting for. We're going to work on this this trunk. Ooh, I want some of this blue just sort of between these two trunks. I'm going to place this in first. Kind of like that. And then, alluding to this purple that we had earlier, we can just kind of place that in like the ridge is continuing through here. Oh, get this purple color and just kind of bring it through. Just kind of, oh, look. You can see through some of these leaves. It's coming through just a little bit. Not too much. There. Great. All right. Let's finish up this tree closer to us. So let's do the dark spots first. Very dark. I need a black color. Okay. So we're going to get this Prussian blue and burnt umber. Mix that together. A little bit of purple. Why not? Make it extra dark. There. And now let's just place in some dark shadows. This is closest to us. We can really let things just be dynamic and deep. Put this paint on a little bit thicker. Let's make some dark spots. And again, at the base of these trunks, these aspen trees, they really get dark. They really do. They've got these dark spots. And we can just work these in. Just wherever we think they'd be. Doesn't matter. Ooh, I want like a knot right there. And put one here, and we can darken up this branch. We'll add some lighter colors later. We'll darken up this. All right. Just little marks. Isn't that fun? It's easy to paint nature. Of course, you know, this method. There's a lot of different ways of painting that require a lot of skills, a lot of years of practice. But if you're just starting out and you're just new to painting, you can kind of paint like this. You can do this. This is the easy way to paint. One brush. Just a brush. All right, let's do some of these blue shadows now. We got some good blue colors here. That's pretty dark blue. Let's try this. Very dark. Not too much, but here and there, just some darker blue colors. Blue tones. This will just kind of start things off for us. We can just kind of rub it onto the canvas. All the way up here. There. Start thinking, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we doing here? Okay, let's get a brighter blue now. Something like this. We can mix it with this darker blue. Ooh, beautiful. More purple. More purple in there. And we can bring this color in and kind of wrap it around here. Just placing in color here and there, thinking about texture, thinking about what it would be like to touch this tree. We can do that. We can enjoy. We can go to new places when we paint. We can enter the painting. And when I do that, that is the happiest time for me. When I'm just walking through the woods here and feeling the breeze, just being lost in another world that I've created. There's nothing like it. creating something with your hands. Now, in our world today, we can create with a lot of ways. We can create with computers, and we can create quite quickly with computers, but you know, this analog way with our hands, it's so much more satisfying for us. I think it really, at a certain level, it's like, hey, come on, humans. I know it's easy to use technology to make things, but come on, let's be a little bit more selective with our human experience. Just really, let's not incorporate those things into our lives that make us feel dead inside. Sometimes technology can do that. It really can. A little bit lighter, not too much. Just, ooh, fun. This is really going to be kind of hit by the sun on this edge. So we can brighten some of these parts up. And notice these trees, they're supposed to be, you know, they're white trees, but man, you know, you bring in all these other colors and it comes alive. That's how you make your trees come alive. A lot of colors. All the parts of the painting. Just incorporate more colors. Ones you'd never expect. I'll put some red in here. Burnt sienna. Wonderful. Okay, let's make some darker spots just through here. Not too many, but just some. Place that in. Good. And down this guy. Kind of put in some of this color. This guy's growing behind it. Yep, very sneaky. Little guy. Little friend. I like that. Sometimes one tree by itself can look a little bit fake. And so you add a little friend and it works. All right, white. Ooh, this bright white color. Let's add this in. Check this out. Coming along here. This edge. Just kind of there. Kind of all the way. Like that. That's going to work. That's going to work. Let's bring this blue color over. I want to have a little bit more purple. Just for fun. Just for the heck of it. There. There. Every tree is going to be different. Every time I approach the canvas, I just feel different. I have a different way of working. And I've noticed that my work, you know, for me at least, maybe because I'm so close to the situation, but I just noticed some big differences between each painting and the way I approach it. It's almost like I can't have the exact same style every time, and I don't try for that. I really don't. I don't think we should. Well, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I don't like that. I want to just kind of have every painting sort of determine the style that would be best. The best style for that painting, you know. And this is working for me. I'm really enjoying this painting. You know, it kind of feels like you're in the woods, not totally realistic. And that's okay. That's okay. We can have some representation here and some interpretation here. And that's what is unique about painting. An artist finds a corner of nature that inspires them, and then they celebrate it in their unique way. And they show people, look, this is how I see the world. And with photography, that is there somehow. You know, Ansel Adams, for example, was an incredible artist, but he was a photographer, and he used photography to convey things. But with painting, you really can push the boundaries. You can explore new ways of seeing the world. Van Gogh did that, and that's why he's such a big example for me. Van Gogh opened my eyes, helped me see the world in a new way. And ever since then, I've seen the world in a new way. And artists can do that. They can show us how to see the world. And but that's just crutches. That's just training wheels. Then, when we really spend time painting, we can show people how we see the world. Our unique way of seeing the world. A little bit lighter here. I want a very, very light yellow. Just the brightest parts. Ooh, look at that sunshine. That sunshine yellow. Brightening up this tree on the side there. Ooh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Great, all the way up here. Hit that right through there. And let's have the sun hitting this. There. Maybe some more branches. Let's have it. Ooh, look at that. We can just kind of string this through here. Have the sun hitting some of these little branches. There. As we turn our brush, you know, we can kind of, oh, there, not too much. Kind of make the way that these branches move. There. And the more picky we are with it and the more precious we are, it can be a lot harder. Just let your hand move and let the paint work for you. All right. Right through here. Kind of blend this brighter color. There. And some dimensionality to this tree. Personality, dimensionality. Make it come alive. Rough bark down here. Look at that. And that part's darker. There. Good, good, good. And some of this lighter color here. This little guy, don't leave him out. He's getting the sun too. Right through here. Just enough paint to really make that stand out. Right? Like that. Great. And some darker spots on this little guy. We're missing some here and there. We don't need too many, but just some. Don't want to forget them. All right. Oh, a little bit of this. And I really like this color. Just here and there for these trees. It just communicates some of this wood. This dark color that's just here and there. Ooh, nice. And the lighter color. There. All right, now on this side, I want the sun wrapping around it a little bit, but not quite as much. So I'm going to just kind of orange this color up a little bit, just a touch. And I want to hit right here, like the sun's wrapping around the tree. So the dark is in the center more. The edges are a little bit brighter. Just kind of like that. And kind of wrap it. Think about the direction of the trunk, three-dimensionality of it. Think about what it would feel like. And you know, it really helps when you go out into nature and you can see these things. And I come back with photos that I've taken, and I'm just so inspired to keep going, to keep painting, seeing all these beautiful places in nature. So if you're feeling uninspired as an artist, go out in nature and find that inspiration, something that makes you excited to paint. All right, let's come up here. With this dark, shadowy color up front, we're going to put the shadows of our path down. It's right up front here, so I want it dark. Make it seem like it's in the shade, really close to us. Just filling up all these areas through here. Kind of think, ooh, the dirt's rough. Let's move our brush roughly. Let's move it really rough. Go back and forth. There. Just think about that dirt. What's it like? Each little part, think about it. You know, don't just put down the brush uninspired without thinking about what you're painting. It's important to care. All right, all through here, a little bit more. Not too much, but just kind of little marks here and there and there and here. I want to add some purple to this path. That'll make it fun. And then these rocks. Let's bring in some very dark colors on the dark side of these rocks. Not totally black though. Let's add some shade. Ooh, look at that. Kind of a darker color. Not all over the place, but here and there, and just in the shade. These stones will be fun, right on the edge of this one, down low there. Some dark colors on these rocks. Very good. Now let's add a purple shadowy color. So let's grab some purple. Put it in this green. It'll tone it down, lighten it up. Why not? See that? Who would have thought? You can just reuse this color that's right here. Add some more purple. This purple is very strong. Very, very strong. Now, I highly recommend, and I know this is probably unexpected, but I highly recommend that you buy quality oil paints, even when you're starting out. Whatever you can afford. I'm not sponsored by anybody, but Gamblin paints are my favorite because they're thick oil paints and they're not too expensive. All right, here we go. Let's come up here. Let's get this purple right through here, just laying it in big strokes. Big strokes. Confident, just straight right along. There. Kind of blending in with this other color. Converging. There. Right down here, just a bunch of purple. Like that. Kind of going around these other colors we've done, not touching too much, not blending too much, just kind of placing it in. Just be rough with it. It's fine. A little path can come this way. It'll go that way. There. All right. Let's add this purple all through here too. What the heck? Keep this dark. Why not? Why the heck not? All the way up here. Just kind of drag it across. You can leave some of these parts untouched. It'll look like sunshine hitting the dirt. There we go. Good, good, good. Kind of right up to this grass. Not too much, just want to make the illusion. It's going that way. All right. Fun, fun, fun. Dark colors. Now we're going to put in some more greenery and some brighter colors too. Let's lay in some very, very dark tones through here. These need to be a little bit more defined, just these little guys. Maybe some ferns. There were a lot of ferns when we were camping. Make these ferns. But no detail, just little marks. We don't need details. It's okay. Right up to the tree. We'll add some highlights. All the way to the edge here. Let's keep this dark. What the heck? Just little marks. Little marks. Through here. Some dark spots up against the path where the grass is going to meet up. Dark shadows. And at the base of some of these rocks, let's just darken it up. Some darker green tones. Some grass that's going to be laid in there. And we'll put in some lighter tones through here and make it kind of bright. I want some bright parts of the path now, so let's use this very, very bright white, and we'll mix it with a little bit of orange. There. Okay. Kind of come through here and maybe a little bit more orange. There, brighten this up. Sun's hitting parts of this path, not other parts. Kind of a brighter orange color, just really some dirt kind of placed in here. Look at that. Look at that. All right. Just moving my brush, making little marks that can be used later as I put in more grass. Just little marks. Dark stuff, very dark. Very dark through here. Let's make some more black. Very dark. I need that to be very dark. There. Okay. Let's add some spots here, kind of fill up the path. Some leaves and so forth. There. Kind of seat that in there. A little bit of a lighter green here and there, not too much. Just a little bit of more saturated green, just playing. A little bit lighter, add a little bit of yellow. Smallest amount there. Just little bits. Not too much detail. Just little marks up front here. Nice. All right, let's mix up a lighter green now with some of these colors. There we go. There we go. And we'll add some burnt umber, some blue, some yellow, More yellow color. There we go. Nice. And let's place in some of these lighter bits of grass at the base, and we're really globbing on the paint, letting this just have a lot of texture. It's close to us. It's a lot of grass, and we can just use a lot of paint. We'll put some lighter colors on top of this and kind of bring everything together. There. Very good. Bits of grass coming up to the path here, kind of spilling onto the path. Very good. Not too bright. I don't want to bring any super bright green colors through here because I want this part to be kind of in the shade. Kind of in the shade. There. Let's bring some of this lighter green just through here. Not here and there, not too much. All the way there. Good. Great. Let's have a little bit of a lighter color, not too lighter. Not too much lighter, just a little bit. A little bit lighter through here. There we go. Just little bits filling in these areas that we didn't hit yet with this lighter color. See, we don't put a lot of paint on top of each other. Like I've said before, it's almost like a paint by numbers. Think, hey, once I put that color down, you don't want to mess with it too much. Not too much. You can, but not too much. You got to find that balance. With the alla prima method. Now, if you're going to take days and days painting, you can let it dry. You can come back and do more detail. You can put it on a lot more thin. You can glaze. Glazing is very important with oil painting. And I don't do that, and that's okay. That's okay. But you can learn that from someone else. There's a lot of things to learn. Many, many things to learn about oil painting. Very important. Important things. But eventually, you can become the master, and you can decide what you like confidently. You can say, you know what? I like painting this way, and that's okay. I like being this way. I like doing these things, and I'm no longer afraid of it. I'm not going to hide. I'm not going to pretend to be somebody else that my family wants me to be, my parents want me to be. Society wants us to be a certain way. We can fight against that. In an act of spite, as Albert Camus, the French philosopher, would say, out of spite. Sometimes he said life is like being in a prison with very mean jail guards that are always wanting you to cry and break down. But if you can hold your head high in life, that's the jail guards don't like that. Out of spite, just out of spite, be as happy as you can be. Sisyphus, the Roman god, was banished to push a rock up a hill forever, every day. And every day would be at the bottom again. He'd have to push to the top. And he chose to smile, a smiling Sisyphus. You know? We can smile through the hardest parts of our lives and through difficult times and difficult existential crises that we could have, and we can keep smiling just out of spite. I love that. Out of spite. You don't have the answers. You don't have all the answers, and that's okay. That's okay. We don't know everything about life. Why we're here, what's going on, we don't know. We don't know everything, and that's okay. Some of this burnt sienna is just way too much fun for me. All right. I want to make this darker through here. This really needs to be dark. I want this tree shadow to kind of be alluded to. There. Coming across. Not too prominent, though. Very dark right through here. Okay. Now, we can work on some of these rocks. And a lighter color. Ooh, kind of this lighter orange color. I like that. Let's place that in. Keep that quite orange. Little bits here and there. Nice. You can add brighter colors too. Let's darken some of these sides up. Let's use some of this. Oh man, this palette is out of control. I'm just way too lazy. I don't want to clean it right now. Don't follow my example with this dirty palette. Unorganized. Let's add some little rocks in here and there. Little ones, pebbles, things. Some of this darker shading. The dark side of these rocks. Kind of have haphazard shapes here. Don't want them to look too perfect or staged. There. What a fun painting. What a fun thing. Down here, we'll just let this brush just kind of be moving back and forth like there's little things going on here and there. I don't like that. Cover that with a bright color. There we go. All right. And some very, very bright highlights on these rocks. Here and there where the sun's hitting. Just where the sun's hitting these rocks. Very bright. Okay. Let's add some more yellow. Ooh, I need some more yellow. I want this to just be boom, punchy and bright. So yellow and white. Mostly white. Ooh, very, very bright. Bright yellow. Okay, right through here. The sun is just zinging across here, making all of these beautiful things happen. And these light colors are just going to show up against these darker ones. Just be very exciting. All the way to the edge here. Sun is just striking all of these little guys. All around. Super bright. People will notice this part of the painting. They'll say, wow, look at that. Their eyes will be drawn to it. That's what we want. That's what we want. Through here too. Ooh, look at that. Just let that sing. There. And maybe some grass through here. We don't know. Let's bring some around these rocks. Look at that. And back here, little bits. Just incorporate that color just here and there. Liven it up. Maybe back here. There. Adding some texture in these areas, just, so we can tell that those are bits of grass, some dark colors down here at the base of these rocks. Base of that tree. Dark, dark, dark. Kind of going through there. We can add some dark colors next to some of these to really make them even pop more. The sun's not hitting every spot. Some of this lighter orangey path color. A little bit of pink. Let's pink it up. There. Beautiful. Let's hit this rock. That one. Just another variation of color here. Kind of, ooh, good. Little marks here and there. And the path right here. I want it to I want some light hitting the path here and there. Little bits of sun. Just kind of poking through. Dancing. Very good. And let's put down this very, very bright color with a little bit of orange. want very bright orangey there. Just enough orange though to make it look like bright dirt. Here we go. This path, I want to put this paint on thick. Let this path just be bright. Poking through here and there, not too much. Just like, oh, it goes that way. Okay. Okay, good. And a little bit more. Right. Let's grab some orange and just go crazy. Go crazy with this yellow. Let's just some red. Show off our colors. Let's show them off. Let's be proud of them. Just kind of say, hey, look at these bright colors. Kind of hidden there. Some more purple. Some dark purple path color. Kind of want to separate on this little area here and kind of make it look like it's darker grass at the base. Good. Well, I'm very happy. Very fun. This was an enjoyable painting to do with you. And I really enjoyed it. I really did. I want to add a little bit brighter grass, though, through here. So I'm going to get this yellow ochre and some white. And some orange. We're just going to place in some more bright grass. Sort of some natural colors through here. Kind of all the way to this rock there. And then, once we kind of work that close to the rocks, kind of incorporate it down, we can place a little bit more of a highlight on top of these rocks. All right. And then, yeah, this highlight color for the rocks. We'll just grab some of this white, mix it up a little bit, put some orange into it, and we'll just let this. All right, I'm going to step back and make the final verdict if we're done or not. All right, just a couple more things. I just want to make sure that some of these guys feel like they just kind of go off to nowhere. There we go. There we go. All right, hey, you know what? This was so enjoyable for me. I loved it. And new episodes every week. Full-length episodes on YouTube. I'm so grateful for your support and your love and everyone who's been so kind to me. And this has just been a wonderful thing for me to do, to be able to paint and have people watch. So with that, I'll see you next time.